Everybody, it's Jacob from Wager Me This here. This is going to be Week 10 Monday Night Football picks. We got Miami going to the Rams. Interesting, Tua is there. Tyreek Hill is there. No Jalen Waddle from what I can tell. A-Chain's there. So Miami is going to be serviceable in this one, which is good for them. The Rams are going to have their full complement of weapons, which is Williams, the running back, and Puka and Cooper. Kupp, that should also make them really powerful as far as the Rams go. Miami's not playing for a playoff spot. This is the one tricky thing, right? Miami, they're not playing for a playoff spot. So what that means is where the Rams are. The Rams are playing to stay relevant in their division because their division is winnable. The Rams are a really good football team when all their pieces are there. When their receivers are there, they're good. They're a good football team. So we're looking at Rams minus 2.5 over 48.5 over under 48.5. I'm not going to mess with that total because I actually think this game could go a couple ways. Because Miami could lay an egg in this one. I don't think the Rams will because I don't think Miami can do much with the Rams offense. But Miami could lay an egg in this one. Tua could get hurt in this one. You know, and it's different. Every quarterback obviously can get hurt, but it's different for Tua because he has a history of getting hurt regularly, where Stafford really doesn't. Expect Stafford to have a big game in this one. So where I'm at in this one is the Rams are at home. This is an East to West Coast game, but it's on a Monday, so the Miami's probably been there since Friday. That doesn't mean a lot as far as the home field advantage. If this was a noon game on a Sunday, this would matter. But they've probably been out in LA since Friday, so I don't know how much that is going to factor. But the Rams are playing for something, and I don't think Miami is at this point. I don't think Miami is going to make the playoffs. And I don't think they think they're going to make the playoffs. And that's a big difference. But I do think that this game is going to be kind of high flying. That doesn't mean it'll have a lot of scores. I think there'll be probably a lot of yards and not as many scores. I don't know that it gets to the 48.5. Again, I'm staying away from the total. I do like the Rams minus the 2.5. If you don't want to lay any points, play the money line. It's not a huge deal there. So as far as the side goes here, I do like the Rams. I like the Rams minus the 2.5 because anytime the Rams have Puka and Cooper and Kyren Williams, they are really hard to deal with because they can spread you out so much, and it allows them to run the ball really well. And in this case, I know that the secondary for the Miami side on paper looks really good, but in reality, they don't play that way. They're not great. And Miami also they don't get sacks and they don't turn you over. Like they're one of the worst teams in the league in sacks and turnovers, forcing turnovers. So I just don't see a lot of angles here where Miami's leading this game. Like I don't see a reason to take Miami. Does that mean they won't win? No, they still could win. But I just don't see a lot of reason to take them. Without Jalen Waddle there, Tyreek Hill will probably have a pretty big day. But the Rams might also just take him away. They could easily just take him away as quickly as he could have a big day. Tua's there. The offense for the Miami side should move. Doesn't mean they'll score. They do have Achane, and he is an absolute weapon. So there is that too. But just from the Rams side, the Rams are starting to get healthy and they're starting to put it together. And they're a very, very tough team healthy. They're one of the better teams in the NFL when they're healthy. So that's where I'm at on this one. I like the Rams minus the 2.5. And for some player props, I like Stafford to go over 253.5 yards passing. With his two weapons out there, they do throw the ball a lot. So I think he gets over 253.5 passing. I like Cooper Kupp to get over 6.5 receptions. See, when Puka and Cooper are on the same field, Cooper Kupp is like the possession guy, and Puka kind of runs the deeper stuff and the take teams across the field stuff, you know. So I like Cooper Kupp over 6.5 receptions, and I like Puka Nakua to go over 68.5 reception yards. So I like Kupp over 6.5 receptions, and I like Nakua to go over 68.5 yards. So don't get those mixed up. They do sound the same. And then I like Tua to go over 247.5 yards. This is my least favorite play, and the reason here is simple. Because he could get hurt at any moment. And I know every quarterback is that way, every player is that way, but it's different for Tua. If Tua gets hurt, he's not coming back in. If he gets sacked and he clinches up like he's got another concussion, he's done. The NFL will not let him back on the field. So you're always running a risk taking any kind of props based around Tua. But I do think he'll have a lot of passing yards in this one. And I think they'll go to Achane, and I think they'll go to Tyreek Hill. They're not going to be like big over the top stuff, I don't think, but I do think you're going to see a lot of screen game, a lot of that 3 receiver set bunch thing Miami does, where they run the back through the middle of it. Miami does a lot of unique things on offense to the rest of the league. The rest of the league is starting to do some of it, but they're like the team that started it. These like speed flood concepts. They like flood one side with all this speed, and Tua has to make a 5-yard throw that turns into 60. They're really good at that. They're really good at that style of football, and they'll use it here. That's why they got all the speed. That's why Miami went and bought up all the hard to defend linebackers and safeties can't cover those guys. So again, just to recap, I like the Rams minus 2.5. I like Stafford over 253.5 passing yards. Tua over 247.5 passing yards. Kupp over 6.5 receptions. Puka over 68.5 yards. And if you just want to sprinkle something in, like if you just need a touchdown prop, Tyreek Hill is the one, because he's plus money and he's the only real viable receiver they're going to have out there. So if you are looking for a touchdown prop to play, that's the one I would choose. He's gonna have his shots, that's for sure. And if you're looking for that kind of plus money type of play, to me that he's the only just really the only real value in the touchdowns, because Kyren Williams is like minus 200 for a touchdown. Achane's like even money. Kupp and Nakua, but to rely on them to score, a lot of times when the Rams get in the red zone, they run the football. So usually Kyren Williams ends up with the touchdowns. So again, if you're going to take Kyren Williams, his touchdown prop is too juiced up. If I'm taking him, I'm probably taking his rushing yards, because his rushing yards weren't super high. They were like 72. That's not super high for him. But again, this is where I'm at. I think Miami kind of gets beat handily in this one. Now, again, it can always go the other way, but I don't think Miami cares. That's part of it too. I think Miami's just trying to play out the season. They had all these injuries. They're not competitive. They had 5-6 games with random quarterbacks in there. I just don't think they're fully engaged at this point. A lot of teams kind of pack it in at this point of the season, the halfway point. Teams that aren't gonna make it anywhere, they start playing their young players, getting their young players time and stuff. We've already seen it with some of the 2-win teams out there. They're not competing for anything, so they've already started doing these things. And again, all this is still predicated on when you're betting player props. Blowouts and stuff can really hurt you. So if the Rams get up 21, you're probably not going to hit your receiver props. And that's one of the issues when you bet player props sometimes, is that blowouts can really cause you problems, because not only does the team that's blowing you out, most of the time they don't keep those guys in every play after that, and the team that's getting blown out, they also don't put their guys in to get hurt. So there's a lot more to when you're betting player props. That's why I tend to try to stay with the ones that are easier to hit. Maybe one thing needs to happen, but in this case, I couldn't find any like that I just really liked. Like in the NBA, that's one of the things when I look at 3-pointer props, or double doubles or something, I try to look at the ones that, there doesn't have to be a lot happen for that player to make that happen. Sometimes in the NFL, you can find receiver props that are like 35. And sometimes with guys that get 5 targets a game that are all deep balls, you really only got to catch one to make that win. And so that's what I'm getting at. That's why I like interception props. That's why I like, because they take one play to win. You don't have to have the whole game to make it happen. Where when you bet yardage props and stuff, you tend to have the whole game to make those happen. Now, I know that I bet a lot of those here, but that's because I didn't find a lot to bet in this game that I liked. And those did fit the model of the situation, because Miami doesn't get a pass rush, so I think that the Rams are going to throw the ball a lot, because Miami can't rush the passer very well. So that's where I'm at in this one. Again, guys, have a great night. For the people on my Discord, I put out 2 college basketball plays. They're kind of obscure plays, so not everyone is going to be familiar with them. But let's see, both teams taking points. We'll see what happens there. Again, early in the basketball season, even though I've done pretty well already, still early in the season, you're going to have some weird hiccups and bumps, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, guys, thank you for your time. I got to go into work, last shift for a couple days. You guys have a great day. No one wanted to talk to me today, or maybe my chat ain't coming up good. I don't know. Oh, there it is. How come? Dang. Do I sell crack? There's the chat. Yeah, okay, so sorry. I guess I hit the wrong button. I was actually able to see the chat now. Let me talk to y'all. Got some crazy stuff in here. I love that. But yeah, if I was going to pick a TD prop, it would be Hill in this one. If you're going to parlay some TD props, I know people like to do that, I would lean HN and Williams if you're going to parlay some. Now, you're still not going to get a great money there, a money line on there. But I do think if you're going to parlay them, I'd rather parlay those ones. I expect Tua to throw a pick in this one. I expect Stafford to not throw a pick in this one. Even though I bet all the primetime interceptions, because I bet it. When I bet it all year long, and then I see what happened at the end. It's kind of like a side set of money for it. So I am betting those as well. I don't put them in here every time because it's just kind of a thing I always do. So again, just so y'all know, I bet the interception props every primetime game. And Eman Karakan, I do not sell crack. But thank you for asking. If you're looking for some crack, I'm sure anywhere you live, anywhere, you can find cocaine, and then you can look up online how to make it. So there you go. It's not difficult to make. Anyone with a stove and some baking soda can get it done. If you have a bottle of some kind, glass bottle. But anyways, guys, these vertical streams, they get these because you get promoted differently, and so YouTube loves it. And you get random people that don't really have anything to do with your content, but it's cool because I get to meet people, right? Always helping out. That's right. Always. When I was in my younger life, I had a very very colorful younger life. So I've definitely been in that world, not as a smoker, but as a maybe as a an entrepreneur, we'll call it. So I've been in that world. It just it's been a long, long time. Doesn't change how you make it though. So there you go. Most people know my story that have anything to do with me as far as my YouTube channel. A creator, yes. So, but again, I don't live that life no more. I haven't lived that life for a really, really long time. I'm much, much different human now. I live a very simple life, really. In a nice place in Arkansas, and I have a group of Discord friends, YouTube friends. I have a couple real friends. I mean, I have a good life. I have an easy life. I have a good job, good real job, good YouTube job. Yeah, I do good. Yeah, absolutely. One thing I don't like, so let's talk about this a little bit just because, might as well, right? One thing I don't like is when people make excuses, though, when they come out of situations like mine, when you go to prison for a while, you come out and you make the excuses on how you can't make it, how you can't do this, how you can't do that. Man, I don't hear it. Number one, go somewhere where you can make it. Don't go where you can't make it. If you go back to your neighborhood, if you go back, to a situation where you don't live, go to a place that has a bunch of industry where you're going to be able to hire in somewhere and work your way up and make some real money so you don't have to go back to that lifestyle. Don't go back to your own neighborhood where there's nothing to do but that old lifestyle. You got to make your own choices when you get out of that situation. It's on you. The system and just everyday people don't care about you, and they shouldn't. There's no reason they should care about you. You're supposed to care about yourself. And so take advantage of stuff yourself. Go be better yourself. You don't have to have handouts or anything. Go earn it, right? Yeah, when I came out, I didn't go, I don't live anywhere near where I got in trouble or anything. I don't hang out with them people that I got in trouble with. None of that stuff. I don't do anything like that. I came out, I put myself in a situation. I got myself in a job that has career to it. And I've worked my way 10 years doing it, and I make good money. I've bought homes and I've bought cars and all this stuff before that never seemed real to me. Now I have to make decisions on whether they're good or bad investments. I just, you have to do it yourself. And it's that with anything. Quit looking for someone else to do you. Do your own. Be your own. You don't need anyone else for anything, really. You can do it all yourself. You just have to put the work in. It's not free. And I don't know. So I hate when I hear these stories. Oh, it's so hard when you come out. You can't this. No. Quit putting yourself in bad positions. Go put yourself in a good position. Don't come back out to your stomping grounds, your neighborhoods where you're from. Go somewhere else where you can succeed. And it's not hard. Just do it. And another thing, people in those situations, so I'm going to speak on that lifestyle. When you're in that lifestyle, everything is too easy to obtain. Everything is too easy to get. So, for example, I had a really nice motorcycle when I was in that lifestyle. I had multiple cool sports cars when I was in that lifestyle. I had pockets full of $100 bills. The problem with it is you get thinking, okay, I can be this person, I can do all these things. But then when you get out of that and they stick you in a box for 12 years like I was, and you come out of that box, you don't have those cars, you don't have that lifestyle anymore. You have to go live a real lifestyle, a lifestyle that's sustainable. those lifestyles are not sustainable, because to sustain that lifestyle, you have to keep selling drugs, or you have to keep committing the crimes you're committing to get that money. So you have to realize you have to change your priorities. You have to change your wants, because you're always going to satisfy your needs, right? So it's all your wants. Your wants are what really matter. You got to want things that are obtainable, and then you work on obtaining them. And so that's where I've been. Like, I wanted property in a home, so I got that. I wanted, to have multiple investment accounts. I got that. I've wanted a YouTube channel. I got that. Instead of saying, okay, I want to go to this concert and party all night long and try to be VIP with Lil Wayne, Well, I used to do that kind of stuff. I used to go and purchase that kind of stuff and put myself in those positions before I got in trouble. But none of it was sustainable. So, and now everything I do is. So there you go. And I'm a much happier person. I have a great family with great kids. Like I said, we're about to sell the house we're in and go buy a bigger home. At least is our plan. So, I mean, there's so much that is all on you. It's all you doing your own thing and success by yourself. If you're always looking for someone else to do it for you, you're always going to be behind. You're always going to lose out. Do your own. Be your own thing. And so I'm specifically talking in the situation when guys are coming out of prison. Go succeed on your own. You don't need this other's help. You don't need these handouts. Trust me, when you start working hard on your own and people see that, successful people see people that are trying to be successful, and they know what it looks like because they did it. All successful people that weren't given success to them, the ones that had to earn it, they recognize it when they see it. And they have no problem with getting in there and being like, hey, I see what you're doing. I'm going to help you here. You don't have to ask for the help. It comes to you then. So all those things, people always, man, I need my big break. You got to go earn that break. Go earn your big break, and people will be willing to do it. They'll want to, because they'll want to invest in the person you are. They'll want to invest in that because they'll see themselves in you, and they'll know you're going to succeed. I have a friend, and he tells me everything I touch turns to gold. And I didn't understand what he was saying for a long time, but what he's saying is that everything I touch, I put enough effort in to make it work. And so he's real smart, and every time I've ever asked him for any kind of investment from him, he's always right there, because sometimes you need more money than you're going to be able to get, right? And that's how, once you reach a certain point in success, you're going to need help as far as money goes. And there's banks, there's people, there's investors that are all interested in this if you're going to work. If you're a worker, you're going to put your time into it and your effort into it, they're going to put their money into it. So keep that in mind. That is not a handout. That is how once you reach a certain point, how success works. Those guys want to put their money there. They're looking for places to put their money. So be that place if that's where you're trying to get to. Be that. So anyways, that was my rant for this. If you're coming out of prison, don't look at anyone else. Look at yourself. Bear down. Get it. Get your own things. Do your own things. And you'll be totally happy, I promise. Anyways, guys, have a great day. Let's watch some football tonight. I'll be at work all night, which is fine. I watch football at work. So, and again, there you go. You have a great night. See y'all later. This is Jacob from Wedge Me This.